everything. Couldn't see myself going through my own everythings. Even though I realized I see myself like the Green Mile going through its own 8 miles. And then I realized I'm trying to run myself through my own miles. I understand the world's trying to understand where I went, even though I couldn't see myself. Even though I'm not a world like they say I'm heaven sent. Even though I see it going like this own ugly. Going even though the world says God look ugly. And now I'm going like the world, trying to see myself. The world couldn't see it going like this world never. Even though I see it going down. Even though I see it going to the world. You wanna look at the crown and then you realize it's never gonna be fucking found. Then you realize the world is like a fountain of youth, but you need to take it going through its own restitute. So I took my break, even though I realized I need my own world. And even though I couldn't see myself going through its illustration, and then I realized I need to give you your own illustration. World is trying to say it like I couldn't create my beats, even though I realized I stole samples, even though I sick of seat. No, I really didn't take them, but they gave them for me for free, even though I should have said going, even though it's going through its own acceptance, even though I couldn't get myself, cause I make no fucking sense. Taking ration, even though I set myself going like I'm trying to write down with straight concentration, but yet you don't understand the words. And then I realize it's going through its own deterrence, and then I realize it's part of its own concurrent. Even though you realize I'm not going with my mind, cause I'm going through its own very future to suit you. Even though I couldn't say my world couldn't fucking suit you. Now I realize the world is not the very fucking future. It's going with your own present, part of its own ascendant, part of its own ascendant, a running, kidding, a reading, a betting, a reading, a kidding, a reading, a setting, a reading, a part of its own mental way. Losing my world, even though I see it going so mentally. Seeing going through its own fatality, that's going like a motor combat, and realize it's not a part of its own combat, it's part of its own attack, part of its own, a part of its own attracts, it's part of its own attacks. Even though it's like a jack attack going through its incredibles, and then I realize it's not trying to say it like I'm twisting through the boast and frost, and then I realize it's like ideas, you hear the crows, part of its own souls. Even though you're trying to say, I'm trying to keep my own soul, yet I'm not the world. Trying to say I'm not trying to say I'm being afraid. Everybody wanna say they wanna be the man until they realize they're gonna be the world, going straight to heaven, and then they realize it's not the world. I'm gonna say it like this scar is not fucking fake. Cause I realize the world is couldn't say its own sake, because you realize you're not part of its own God's sake. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now everybody couldn't say myself, even though I said myself going through the show. I wanna say like you're going through the ideas, and then you realize you never had any idea. Everybody wanna say you're not the fucking best guy going through this own rep say, but I wanna fucking say everybody couldn't see the things, even though I'm going so very clear, like I'm trying to caress her. The world is trying to say it like I'm going through this song. So yes sir, I'm gonna treat the world with respect. I'm gonna say that I love every fucking woman. I'm going even though you couldn't say, even though you couldn't say, even though I realize I'm like this on to stay. Now I realize the world couldn't say I could stay, because you know what, I'm only borrowing this body like a vehicle. Realize the world is not a car. Even though you realize you drive yourself, the world might fucking take you. And even though you couldn't understand, it might take you for its own wheel. Now I realize it's part of its own steel. And even though you realize the world couldn't be part of its own dealing, part of its cost. Now I realize it's not even a sauce. Even though I'm trying to fucking get the fire to see it. Now I realize I need to take a step back, gain that water. And now I realize I'm trying to water this own plant coming from the desert. And now I realize I couldn't desert. And realize I want to eat a little dessert, but I hate fucking sugary snacks. And now I realize I need to relax. Looking even though I couldn't see the zone, I realize I'm trying to be part of fucking better than this fucking phone going through its own social media. Even though you realize you couldn't be part of me, I'm trying to fucking be part of you. I want to be part of your own life, cause I love you. Even though I see myself going so few. Understand this freestyle. Understand this freestyle. Want you to understand you're better than anything, even though the world's trying to say you're trying to write you off like your currency. Lies, that's all fucking bullshit. You're better than this life. You need to understand your soul is something so much very deeper, something very deep. Even though you realize you're trying to say yourself, you're not part of its own deep end. Even though you're trying to say like you're trying to gain its own symphony. I realize, even though you see the symphony, you didn't even realize I take my fucking knee. I want you to understand, I love fucking people from the very fucking end. And that's why I do this shit for fucking free, because you realize you're part of me. I couldn't fucking buy anything out of you, because you realize you're so very fucking few. You're just part of its own idea to me, because you realize you're nothing more to me. Even though I try to give everything from my very heart, that's why I drank myself from the very start. Everybody wanna say they wanna be an artist until it takes everything from the heart, and then you take it for less, and then you realize everything couldn't say anything, so you sell for less. And then I realize I will never settle for less. I want to say myself going through its own presence and sessions, and now I realize that even though you couldn't understand where I'm fucking going, you couldn't understand. Even though I realize I'm sitting with my own confused stand, just want to understand I'm not the best man. I just want to be better than who I am tomorrow.